This is a video demonstrating several tips for calibrating your Softrol chemical system. These tips work for a variety of washers and systems. If a tip is system or washer specific, it will be noted in the corner by stating the model used in this video. It is important to remember chemical safety when doing a calibration. Employees should always wear protective equipment when dealing with chemicals, including doing a calibration. It is important to note that only specific types of systems can have the flow rate adjusted. If it is possible, there will be a knob on the chemical manifold. To adjust the speed, turn the knob counterclockwise, or to the left, to increase the flow. Turn the knob clockwise, or to the right, to decrease the flow. For small injections, it is best to decrease the flow rate to half a gallon to a gallon per minute. When doing a calibration, the dispensed amount does not have to be precisely what you were aiming for. That said, for accurate calibration it is important that you do not stop and restart the pump. You should aim for roughly the typical injection size, but once again, it does not have to be perfect, though the dispensed amount should never be less than 200 ml or more than 1800 ml. To accurately measure the chemical, first close the valve at the end of the calibration line so it does not leak, then place the graduated cylinder on a level surface and read the amount of chemical, making sure not to measure the foam and to convert units if necessary. If you are using a touch screen to calibrate, instead of holding down the Yes key, you press the Calibrate Chemicals button once to turn the pump on, and once again to turn it off. Remember, for accurate calibration it is important that you do not stop and restart the pump. Due to certain circumstances, a time-based calibration might be beneficial. For example, if the chemical has an inconsistent flow through the flow meter, or if there is gas in the chemical, time-based calibration would be more accurate. To calibrate the chemicals on a traditional system without the flow meter, you use a very similar method as you normally would to calibrate. The only difference is, when you choose the type of calibration you want to do, you press the 2 key for 2 equals time-based calibrations to calibrate without using the flow meter. To calibrate the chemicals on a tunnel system without the flow meter, you use the same method as you normally would to calibrate, except, you have to change that chemicals sensor in the Edit Chemical Assignment in PulseNet. Check the time-based box for a specific chemical to do time-based calibration for that chemical. Then, make sure to send out a group formula update. And, after that, remember to cycle power before you calibrate. While all systems can do an H-factor calibration, not all chemical injections need an H-factor calibration, but it is helpful in certain situations, like when the injection size is small, less than 5 ounces, or there is a need for extreme precision. The H-factor calibration does not change the calibration but adds a small corrective factor to the injection in order to increase its accuracy. To do an H-factor calibration, you calibrate as you normally would, but when you are saving the calibration, you press the 2 key to store the calibration as an H-factor calibrations. This is very important or else the calibration will change and be overwritten. Some common calibration errors are: 0 cannot be entered in for a calibration. If no counts or low counts, less than 1 per second, are detected, the system will alarm with a minimum frequency error. If this occurs, press the No key to exit and check the flow rate as well as the response from the flow meter. Make sure the gears are not jammed and the meter is counting up during the calibration. If the error was not described, contact Softrol Systems at 770-974-2700 for further assistance. To check the calibration, do not use the calibration routine or the calibration will be altered. Instead, program a calibration test formula. Remember, these formulas should correspond to the chemical number. For example, formula number 1 checks chemical number 1, and if chemical number 1 is alkali, formula number 1 should be called check alkali, and will dispense the requested amount of alkali. To get the percent error, subtract the experimental or received amount from the expected or desired amount, divide this number by the expected amount and then multiply by 100. If the percent error is outside the range of tolerance, then recalibrate the system. This concludes the calibration tips video for all Catalyst systems. Thank you for choosing Softrol systems.